Welcome back. She's the speaker and founder of Elevate Club, helping gain clarity around people's goals and vision for life. And now she's here to bring tips and tricks for a better money mindset and future financial success. Dr. Nona, thanks for joining us here at Live in the Bay.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to talk about money. Actually, my husband's probably really excited that you're talking to me about money today. Let's talk about people's relationship with money. Everyone has a relationship with money, whether they realize it or not. So how do you determine your how do you find out what your relationship is with money?
Yeah, and this is such an important concept to talk about because money is such a big point of stress for a lot of people. A study out of Duke says 71% of adults stress out about money. It's one of the top three reasons why people get divorced. Yet we don't really evaluate what our relationship looks like with money and how we can make it better. So I like to explain it like, pretend like money is a person, all right? I know it's kind of out there, but if you feel like money is a person and you're in a relationship with that person, how do you feel about money? Are you tight about it? Are you scarce, you feel scarcity or you feel insecurity with money? You constantly want to hold on to money and you don't want it to circulate, or you're not investing, or you're not smart about it. So if that's the kind of relationship you would have with an individual, you'd probably tell me, Nona, that's a toxic relationship. You don't want to be in that relationship. It's not healthy. So really determining how we feel about money, what our thoughts are around money that generate the kind of relationship that we have money, that's a really good starting point.
Yeah, and so once you kind of determine the relationship that you do have, what do you need to do from there?
Okay, so one of the things that I teach my students all the time is actually based on research. There's a study out of Stanford. They had two groups of students. I guess it's fascinating. I love this study. They had two groups of students. They used virtual reality to generate a picture of them aged, right? Progressed, like, say, 10, 20, 30 years later in life.
Yeah.
And one group gets to interact with that version of themselves, the retired version of themselves. The other group is a controlled group. They just kind of go into the lab and they study and do their thing. Now, when it came down to, they started to ask them questions about what kind of decisions they would make around money, the group that was interacting with their future version made smarter decisions, at least on paper, when it came down to money or investments and savings. So one of the most important things you can do is actually have an understanding of what your future version feels like, what your future version wants to experience, either a year from now, 2 years from now, or ideally even in retirement.
And so is that looking at retirement age and saying, I want to be, this is the house I want to be living in, this is what the money that I want to have for, vacations and travel. Is it kind of defining it in that way?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's planning, but becoming familiar with what you want to create in life. Again, whether it's 5 years, depending on how old you are, like it might be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or in retirement, what do you want to experience? And becoming familiar with that makes you more likely to actually plan better, invest better.
Okay, well, so now we got to get to the planning and the steps that we need to take. What can people do to set their future self up for success?
Yes, and I'm not a financial advisor, so this is not financial advice. However, I will say that for every person, making financial decisions is going to look completely different. There's no one size fits all for this. But I will always advise people to do what feels aligned with where they are, their understanding of their money and the relationship with money, and also with relation to where they want to go. So making aligned decisions, not making decisions because we're scared and we want to hold on to money, or not being respectful with money also. So aligned decisions.
Okay, and so what does that look like? Let's get a little bit more granular. If you're making aligned decisions, what are some of the types of things that you might be doing with your money?
Yeah, so for somebody who is really excited about real estate, for example, they are constantly looking to see what's on the market and what would a fixer-upper would look like. They're super excited about it. They're just naturally into it. They watch those shows. So that might be an aligned area to sort of look into, learn more about, research more about, and invest in.
Okay.
Somebody else might be into, nowadays a lot of people are into Bitcoin, so they might be really kind of obsessed about that kind of concept. So that might be a really really good idea for them to learn more about and research more about and take aligned action or invest in those areas.
What would you say, because I know a lot of people are probably watching this, and there are people who don't have this comfortable relationship with money, and maybe, you know, they're acknowledging that and they want to start making better decisions and making better plans. How can they first get started? What's the first thing to just break out of it and take some action?
You know, I think the most important thing that anybody can do, no matter their financial situation, is to heal their relationship with money. So, and that's going to come down to the belief systems that they have around money, right? So if you're really scarce about money, maybe you grew up where, you know, just like me, I didn't grow up with a ton of money, so I have certain belief systems or grew up with certain belief systems that are limiting when it comes down to financial abundance. So working through those and healing those and knowing that you can be provided for, you can be successful, you can contribute and give back freely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is all so fascinating. And just really quickly before I let you go, where can people find you and find more information?
I'm everywhere. Probably have tons of inspiring information around these concepts and more on Instagram. So people can look me up on there or on my website.
Okay. Dr. Nona?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Thank you for joining us here and sharing a little bit about bettering our money for the future.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for having me.